Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am very excited today because I'm sharing one of my favorite things to cook, a biryani. I have shared biryani over the years, but this one is a very new take. It's actually my friend Sudhakar. He's a doctor, he lives locally and he makes a mean biryani. It's from Hyderabad. It's his take on Hyderabad biryani. So don't come at me, that's how he makes it and I love it. So I shared his recipe in my book, Indian Feasts, and it's such a gorgeous biryani. It's one thing I love to cook, but I don't make it very often, which makes it even more special because making a proper biryani does need a little bit of time, kind of patience, loving. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get cooking. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. I'll leave the details of the book in the description. Let's get cooking. So basically the recipe starts with chopping a lot of onions. You take around 4 to 6 onions, medium size, and I'm just going to thinly slice all of them. So God, they were strong. Oh my God. Right, I better start frying them. So you might ask, why is it so different? It's called Kacchi Biryani. Now Kacchi means raw, and this is the biryani where we, instead of cooking the whole chicken together and whole rice and then you put it in layers, which is delicious as well, what we do is we don't cook the chicken, and the chicken is actually cooked with the rice, which makes it so special. It's so delicious, and the marinade is completely different to the other biryanis I've made. So I really hope this is going to be epic. It's just a little bit of effort, but I promise it's going to be very, very worth it. So I'm going to start by using 400 ml of sunflower oil. That's just 200. I'll bring another 200. And don't worry about the quantity of oil because we are going to not use all of it. We are going to drain the extra oil after the onions are done. So that is 400 ml of oil. And once this is nice and hot, in goes the onion, and I'm going to cook them until they're beautifully golden, and it would take around 15-20 minutes. Now, like I said, this is going to take a good 15-20 minutes, and that is enough time for me to prepare other marinade stuff. That's the onions, and here I have got a whole chicken that my butcher has chopped up into small pieces. I'll get that sorted first. So obviously you can buy a whole chicken and dismantle it yourself, or if you're lucky to have a local butcher who can do it for you, or if neither is an option, then you can just buy chicken thighs on the bone place but no skin. So here are all the pieces, including the wings, which I've kept the skin on. That's the only thing. Got legs, everything basically. So I'm going to transfer this to a nice wide bowl. I think the main thing to remember is that whatever you do, the size of the chicken pieces needs to be similar because they're going to cook together. So if you have one massive piece and one small piece, then that's not going to work very well. Okay, so I'm going to start with 200 grams of natural yogurt. Now a teaspoon of salt. Next goes in a teaspoon of turmeric. 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Now 2 teaspoons of ground coriander. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. 6 cardamom pods. 1 cinnamon stick. Got 6 cloves. 2 bay leaves. 1 star anise. Next I've got around 10 to 15 mint leaves, fresh. I'm going to chop them up and add it to the yogurt. I'm also going to add 3 to 4 green chilies finely chopped, but you can add more or less according to taste. These are the mint leaves. Also going is a bunch of coriander. I'm going to finely chop this as well. Just going to add a teaspoon of chili powder. This is optional. There's the chopped coriander. Now very important is ginger and garlic. So 6 to 7 cloves of garlic and a good piece of ginger all chopped up. Now while I was preparing this, the chicken is ready. Our onions are ready. Look at that. So obviously you have to make sure to keep stirring it, otherwise to get an even color, and you don't want it too dark, but this is a perfectly golden color. And as you can see, there's loads of extra oil, but to fry it beautifully you need that oil, and now we are going to get rid of it. So I have got here a pan and I've got a sieve, so I'm going to transfer the onions here and collect all the oil, because that is precious, delicious oil. Look at the color on that. Perfect, evenly gold. Okay, now comes the fun part. So from these onions, I'm gonna take a major chunk of this and add it to the marinade. So get that mix, just add, and then keep the other half for later. One of the last things to go in is, from this lovely oil that we have, onion oil, we add 2 tablespoons of that, and then we give this a good mix. This really is an amazing marinade. You know, just by looking at this, you know what we've put in, you know it is going to be insanely delicious. Smells out of this world actually. And now that the marinade is mixed up, I'm going to add the chicken pieces. Now you have 2 options. You can marinate this and let this sit in the fridge for an hour, but if you can make this a day in advance and leave this in the fridge overnight, that would be amazing for me. So like I was saying, that you can leave this for an hour. Best way to mix it is only one way, by hand, so that everything is coated really well. Now if you can leave it overnight, that would be just awesome. Unfortunately I can't, because I have to film the video, and I thought that I think I should have to marinate something overnight, and then, you know, didn't do it. But I have got some time, so what I'm going to do is cover this up nicely and put this in the fridge for 2 hours. I've got 2 hours. It smells so good. I just want to cook and eat this, but patience, right. So I just wanted to show you how beautiful it looks. Ooh, this is going to pack a punch in flavor. So that's the chicken. Now it's going to going in the fridge for 2 hours. So it has been 2 hours now. The chicken's been sitting there, and it's time to move on to the next step. For the next step, I have got here a pan of boiling water, and I'm just going to weigh out 350 grams of basmati rice and give it a quick wash. Now we have got the boiling water right here, and this water is going to cook the rice for just 20%. I just want I'll show you the edges of the rice to kind of start softening up, because this is a very different way of making the biryani, which is why this is the case. So I'm going to add some whole spices. Let's see what it says. Some cardamom pods go in, around 4 to 6. Couple of bay leaves go in. A few black peppercorns go in. And just going to add 1 star anise. A few cloves, and now get it nice and bubbling up and boiling, and then add the washed up basmati rice. So we're going to drain this, but cooking it in these spices means it's going to get a lovely, really lovely flavor, the rice. So I'm going to just give it 5 minutes. I'm not going anywhere, because this is the very important part, to not overcook the rice. And while the rice is bubbling up, I'm going to take the same pan I made the onions in. I haven't washed it, don't need to wash it. I'm going to get it nice and hot and move on to the chicken as well. So both these things would be ready together to assemble. So you don't have to add any oil to this. I'm just adding 1 tablespoon so nothing sticks. I'm using the same onion oil. And I'm going to get this nice and hot before I add the chicken. And while that is all getting ready, I'm going to prepare the last little bit, which is the saffron milk. I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons of milk, so 1 and 2, and I'm just going to warm it up in the microwave for 40 seconds. Okay, so that's nice and hot. This has come out of the fridge and it will go straight in. So what I want to do is cook this on high heat for 5 minutes just to kind of get a little color coating on the chicken. So I'm leaving it on high heat and giving it 5 minutes. Okay, so that's going to cook for 5 minutes, and in that time I am going to check on the rice because this is done. So you can see that the outside of the rice is beginning to soften, and that's it, turn it off. You don't want to overcook this, and I'm going to drain this now. But I'm going to collect the water because I need it in a minute. So we are collecting all the spices as well. We don't want to lose the spices because they will add flavor when we cook it next. And we've collected the water because we need it in a minute. So that's the rice ready. That's the onions ready. That's the onion oil. That's the chicken cooking. I have warmed up my milk and I'm going to add saffron to this. So pinch of saffron. I'm gonna mix this, and while the chicken is cooking, this can release some color and flavor into the milk. Just gonna turn the chicken over. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Two more minutes. So it's been 5 minutes and I think that's got enough color. So good start to the flavors, and now I'm going to move on to the next step. So all the elements are ready. Turn the gas off. Our chicken is smelling so good. Now I'm going to add this rice that I have drained. We'll go on top of this. Just a layer of rice goes on top. So again, this is different to the other biryanis where I have layered chicken, then rice, then chicken, then rice. This just is one single layer of chicken and one single layer of rice. So that is done. Now I'm gonna weigh the water. So I'm going to use 150 ml of this rice water. Perfect. So I've got 150 ml, and the rest of the liquid is going to come from the chicken, the moisture of the chicken. So don't worry and don't add too much. So first thing to go is the water drizzle. This is going to help cook the rice and the chicken. Next adding is this lovely saffron milk. It smells just incredible. I'm going to just spread this out because I don't want it in a lump. This is precious, precious stuff. Drizzle it all. And next, I'm going to drizzle 2 teaspoons of kevda water. This is going to be amazing. And now, really important bit, which my friend told me, which I didn't do, and this is special to this biryani, is adding ghee. So we add 4 tablespoons of ghee. I've got turmeric ghee, but that's all I have at home, so I'm just using that. But you use whatever ghee you have, and then you drizzle 4 teaspoons all on the 4 sides. Obviously, it's going to be delicious. And now I'm not using all the onion. I'm going to use some of the onion. Now this pan doesn't have a lid of its own, so I'm going to use thick foil to seal this up. So I've got extra strong foil. Just going to make sure. And I'm going to do it this way too. Now I've got the oven really nice and hot at 200C fan or 220 normal oven, and this is going to go in the oven. Everything's hot, so you have to do it immediately, because if you cool it down, the cooking timings will change. So please remember that. This is all boiling hot right now. This is going to go in the oven for 50 minutes, and then I'll tell you what to do. Right, going to seal it. I'm so excited. Right, let's get it in the oven. So it has been exactly 50 minutes. My timer has just gone off, but just before the timer went off, I could smell the biryani. So now I need to be patient. I need to let this sit for 15 minutes before I can peel it open, taste it, eat it, blah, blah, blah. So in that 15 minutes, I'm going to get some other bits done. Okay, I have been very patient. I've let it sit for 15 minutes, but I've had enough. Right, let's go for it. It's still hot, so be careful about it. Moment of truth. So the last few bits of onions that I kept aside this is a good time to put them on. You can put some herbs, but it doesn't need any more herbs or any more toppings. Oh, the rice is perfectly cooked. Look, every grain separate but not sticky and mushy. Oh. Wow. I've been dreaming of this since this morning because, like I said, it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth every minute. You can serve this just on its own, but it'll taste even better if you serve it with the side of a raita or some nice crunchy onions or a salad. And the beauty is, I know my mouth's watering, but the beauty of this is once it's slightly, right now it's piping hot, but once it is less piping hot, you eat it with your hands. That's the only way to eat biryani. I've just eaten a whole cardamom. While you transfer it on a serving plate, you can take out the whole spices. Otherwise, whoever is taking it on their plate can take it out on their behalf. I really hope you're going to take out time on one weekend, on special occasion. Make this, enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want details of the book, it's in the description. I really hope you're going to love this Kacchi chicken biryani. Bye for now.